In this video, I'm going to share with you what to do after total knee replacement rehab ends. Welcome, my name is Dr. Mike, and I'm a physical therapist who specializes in treating patients after total knee replacement. And then today I wanted to share with you what to do after you have completed your physical therapy for this specific procedure. Now, the biggest mistake that I often see many of my patients make after this specific procedure is that they will go through the rehab journey and they feel that they have gained enough range of motion and the pain is very low, and they completely stop everything and go back to normal living. And the reason why I say that's the biggest mistake that you can make is because you are going to go backwards if you are not continuously strengthening that knee again and you're not focusing on other areas of the body like the hip and the ankle, which can greatly influence what's happening at the knee. Just like with any injury or any procedure, we can't just do exercises that are focusing solely on the knee. We have to incorporate full body exercises that ties in the whole kinetic chain so that your body knows how to continue to use the strength and the range of motion that you gained from performing the rehab. Now, if you're someone that wants to continue to build lower body strength, you want to stay independent, and you want to make sure that this knee doesn't cause more issues down the road, it's important that you incorporate these exercises on a weekly basis to help ensure that you not only focus on building up your knee, but also building strength in the hips and in the core. Now, just to be clear, the exercises that we're going to be going over are going to be more high level. So what that means is there is a criteria that I want us to have before we start participating in a lot of these activities, because more than likely, if you start too soon after your surgery, you are going to have increased pain and it's going to be too much. So number one, we have to consider your pain levels. We want to make sure that if you're going to start practicing some of these advanced level exercises, that you have no more than a 4 out of 10 pain. Number two, we want to make sure that you have done your rehab and you have adequate range of motion, full knee flexion over 120 degrees and close to 0 degrees of knee extension, your ability to straighten the knee out. The last part of the criteria that I want to make sure we're at is that you are at least 3 months out. If you start many of these exercises right after surgery, this is going to be too soon. So you have to wait until you pass that 3-month mark before you start adding in a lot of these activities. Now let's get started with a few activities that you can do laying down, and then we will start to transition to more advanced level weight-bearing activities that you should incorporate. Now for the first few exercises, we're going to start off on the ground, and the reason why this is great is because you can really perform these exercises anywhere. You don't really need any weight or anything. You just need a flat surface. So you can most likely get away with doing this either on your bed or even on the ground. But we have to focus on hip stability and hip strengthening. Many people focus too much, especially when they're far out from rehab, on just the knee. You have to focus on the hip as well, because we know a lot of the muscles of the hip actually go down into the knee. So you have to treat the whole leg as one. One of the best exercises that we can start to help building hip strength and hip stability is a clam. Now, if you are on your side, you can perform this by simply laying on your side with your knees bent in front of you and your heels tucked behind you. And what you're going to do is you're going to lift your knee up towards the ceiling and then bring it back down. I have my hand here on the back of my hip because I want to focus on which muscle I should be isolating when I move my knee upward and downward. Many of these exercises we want you to work on about 2 sets of about 8 to 10 reps at a time. And if you find that this is too easy, you will eventually need to use a resistance band, a loop band that you can wrap around your knees so that you have more resistance when you're trying to lift your knee up towards the ceiling. What I don't want you to do with this particular exercise is rotate too far where you find your whole body turning backward. You have to make sure you stay on your side and you really isolate that lateral hip component. From this position, you can simply take that same leg now and you're gonna extend it slightly behind you, and you're gonna point your toe downward. Now from this position, we're gonna raise straight up to the ceiling and come down. With this particular hand here, I'm gonna place on the front of my body so that I can ensure that, once again, I don't roll backwards and I stay solely on my side as I'm keeping the leg straight, as I'm really isolating the hip abductor muscles. These are the lateral muscles of the top of the hip there that are very important for walking and very important for stability of the knee. Both of those exercises can be very important when it comes to the beginning stages of building strength in your hip. Now the next set of exercises are specifically going to be focusing on the quadriceps and the hamstrings to help continue to build strength and stability in the knee. One of my favorite ways to start introducing a squat exercise for patients' program is to incorporate a box squat. Now, all you're going to do is you're going to cross your arms, you're going to ensure that both feet are separated, you're simply going to lean your body forward and then push your feet into the ground. As you do this, you're going to be working your leg muscles as you go up and down for this specific exercise. The important thing to note on this exercise is that you are equally distributing your weight on both feet. One thing that we often see is if you're still not strong on that surgery side, you'll tend to want to use your non-surgical side to perform the exercise, and you might find yourself kind of leaning over to one side. Really force yourself to stay equal with your stance and cross your arms and come down to utilize only the legs versus using your hands as well. The best part of this exercise is you can make it more challenging by either lowering the surface down and sitting down at a lower surface, or simply adding a weight to hold on to like a kettlebell or a dumbbell and standing up to make the exercise a little bit more challenging. Another exercise that can really complement your squatting is by working on isometric training of the quadriceps and the hamstrings. And we can do this with an exercise called the wall sit by sitting up against the wall with your back nice and flat. Your hands are down at your side and you're trying the best to drop your hips as low as your knees. Notice my feet are flat on the ground and they are stacked underneath the knees. And all I'm trying to do is stay in this static position, and we could probably hold this for about 30 or 40 seconds and we would feel quite a bit of burn in the quadriceps. This is going to really work the legs quite a bit, and you're going to have to control yourself from falling downward. If you're just starting off with this exercise, you might start off with your hips a little bit higher, and then as you progress, you can drop them lower. You can even hold a weight right here in front here, which is going to make this exercise a lot more challenging. Now we're going to move on to many different exercises in a standing position, and these are some of my favorite exercises specifically because these types of exercises are really to help you get back to doing more advanced level activities. Like if you want to get back to some rigorous hiking, if you want to get back to a specific sport, these are very good for a return to sport program. Now the next one we're going to get into is called a hamstring curl. And I personally like to use something like an ankle weight to put on the foot because this allows me to add more resistance and makes the exercise a little bit more challenging. You can also wrap a band around the foot if you do so. Many of the gyms these days do have machines, but if you don't have a machine or access to a gym, you would simply use a ankle weight like this. All you're going to do is you're going to hold on to something here like the counter or something in front of you, and you're simply going to tuck and bring the heel behind you and then lower it down slowly. The goal with this exercise is to not extend your hip behind you. You want to try to keep the knee in line with the body, and you don't want to flex it. So all you want to do is feel the hamstring working here. This is a great exercise to build hamstring strength, and the reason why that's important is because the hamstring crosses behind the knee and provides some stability there. So we not only want to just focus on stretching the hamstring, we also want to make sure that it's also strong. Moving on down the leg, we also want to make sure that we are training our calf muscles, and we probably are all familiar with the double leg calf raise, which is a great exercise, but I often find that it's too easy for many people, especially if they don't have weight to load the exercise. One way that you can make it more challenging and to address any imbalances between the legs is by working on a single leg calf raise. So you should see how many you can complete on your non-surgical leg and compare that to the side that had surgery on. See if there's a strength discrepancy between the two. Make sure you push all the way through the big toe, extend the ankle all the way up, try your best to keep the knee straight, and feel the calf muscles working really hard. If you want to make this a bit more challenging, you can do this even on a step with your heel off the step. As you lower down, you're just going to get a deeper stretch in the ankle and in the Achilles. Another valuable exercise is the step up and step down exercise. And the reason why that's important is developing the control it takes and the strength it takes to go up and down stairs. The step up exercise, you can do this holding on to something if you would like, but what you're going to do is you're going to place the surgical leg up on the step and trying your best to lean forward. You're going to stand up all the way and then lower down slowly. So my body is going forward as I come up and down, and I always want to control that movement. I just don't want to just plop down really fast. You want to really show control, extend and make sure the knee is completely straight, and then come back down, okay? From there, you can work on a lateral step down. So instead of now me facing the step, now I'm going to be on top of the step to the side. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you with my right leg, because this is the leg that's going to be working, and I'm going to simply stand up, and then I'm going to slowly lower by first hinging at the hip. So I'm going to lean my trunk forward, allowing my knee to bend, and then I'm going to come down with the foot and come straight back up. Notice that with the foot that drops to the ground, I'm controlling that motion and I'm coming up. I'm not just falling back to the ground rapidly and just coming back up. I really want to show control, utilizing all my quads and my hamstrings to show good control and stability with this particular exercise. Now, if you have access to kettlebells or dumbbells at home, or if you have access to them at the gym, I think the next exercise can be a great exercise when it comes to not only single leg strength, but also balance and coordination. The farmer carry not only is a great exercise for building grip strength, but it's also great for building core strength and single leg stability strength. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold those weights at your side, and now you're going to practice this marching motion. When I do this, I'm having to move my body weight all on one leg from side to side, and having some weight is really going to help me stay balanced. And as I get more comfortable with this exercise, you might start off with small steps, and then you're going to start to bring those steps even higher. And if you really want to make it more challenging, you can have yourself pause at the top to really get good practice of balancing on one leg with weight at your side. Now we will move on to some more single leg training. And one of my favorite ways to isolate the hamstrings and the glutes and to really strengthen one leg at a time is by working on a single leg RDL. This stands for a Romanian deadlift, and this can really challenge you if you have a small weight like a kettlebell or a dumbbell on the ground. And you're going to stand over the object with your feet in a staggered stance. And it doesn't matter which leg you use first because you're going to be working on both sides anyways. You're going to stagger one foot in front of the other, and I still have a good foot width. So about shoulder width apart is key. From here, you're going to bend at the hip and you're going to reach down and pick up the object. When you stand up, you're going to feel that these muscles have to work to extend the hip and to pull your trunk upright. As you lower down, you're focusing on staying balanced and really keeping this weight really close to your body. You'll notice this is a great way to incorporate that hinge pattern that we know how valuable can be for picking things off the ground. And also this can be a great exercise when it comes to training and learning how to perform movements like the deadlift again. The last exercise that we're going to get into that is super important for ensuring you build that single leg stability and that strength is to focus on a split squat. What you're going to do is very similar to a lunge. If you know what a lunge is, we're simply stepping forward and stepping back. That movement forward and back tends to be real tough for people, and I often find people getting in very poor postures and positions when they do this. This is why I like to preset people in a split stance position. So that means I'm going to bring one foot forward, I bring the other behind me, and I keep my feet about shoulder width apart. From here, all I'm going to think about is dropping that back knee down to the ground and standing up. When we practice this motion, I'm working extremely hard in the quads and I'm working in my hips to help pull myself upright. You're going to start this exercise first with no weight. If you need to use assistance of a pole or a counter while you're doing this, you can do that. It's totally fine. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you train the other side as well. Now, one thing I want us to remember as we're working on all these exercises is you cannot forget to train both legs at a time. We're not just focusing on keeping the surgical leg strong, but also keeping the other leg strong. So it's going to be important that you're working on these exercises, utilizing both legs, and as they become easier, as you're performing 2 sets of 8 to 10 reps at a time, you can start to add resistance by either using resistance bands or even incorporating dumbbells and weights to make the exercises more challenging. Now, if you found this video helpful, or maybe you yourself are incorporating a lot of these exercises yourself, please share with us which one of these exercises is the most effective and has been working for you. In the meantime, if you want more information on how to properly recover after total knee replacement, make sure to check out my playlist here.